Hello everyone, Alejandro here from Caballero Wear, and in today's video we're going to talk about what to look for the next time you're buying a pair of shoes online. Stay tuned. Now the key to buying anything is actually knowing what you're getting. So you don't want to be a person who spent $200 on something to know that the thing is worth, $5, right? Especially with everything going on in the world economically, we want to make sure that we, as people, we're making smart buying decisions. That way when we buy something, we know what we're getting, is great quality, is going to last us longer, and ultimately we win as a consumer. Now let's talk about shoes. So when shopping for shoes, you want to look at four main things. Number one, you want to look at the upper of the shoe to see the leather. So you want to look at leather. What type of quality is it? Is it real leather? Is it fake leather? What is it? And we'll go into, I'm going to make more videos about specifics of this. This is an overview of what to look for, and I'll tell you how to define and how to figure out what type of leather, what's what. So we'll look for leathers. That's the first one. The second thing that you want to look at is the inside of the shoe. Is it made out of cloth? Is it made out of leather? What is it, right? So you want to make sure you look at the inside. Number two. Number three, you want to look at the sole. What type of sole is it? Is it a rubber sole? Is it a wood sole? Is it a leather sole? What is it? And then lastly, you want to look at the construction, how the actual product is made. And I'm going to show you guys how to go over that. So those are the four things to look for: the leathers, the actual inside, whether it's leather or not. Number three is actually the sole of the shoe, and four, the construction. Okay. Of course, when you're shopping online, you don't know whether the shoe is comfortable or not, right? That's one of the things that you will look for if you're buying a shoe in person. But if you're buying a shoe online, you don't have access to that. You got to get the product first, try it out, and then go from there. You can look at reviews and see what people have to say. That's a good way to figure out the comfort. But this is more for quality and the value that you're getting. That's what we're looking for. Now let's talk about leathers. Now I'm going to do a completely separate video again going into the details of this. So I'm just going to go as an overview. So there are three main types of leathers. There is full grain leather, top grain leather, or genuine leather. And then there is a fourth category, which is bonded leather, which is what you do not want to buy ever. Bonded leather is the worst of the worst. It's not even real leather. It's pretty much the scraps from other leathers all mixed into one, and it's the lowest that it can possibly be as far as quality. So you don't want to get shoes like that because you're not going to last you as long, unless you don't care about buying something that's going to last you for a long time so you can keep more money in your pocket. That's totally up to you. But definitely stay away from bonded leather. Then you have top grain leathers, full grain leathers. Those are high quality leathers that are actually going to allow your shoe to last for forever. And then as far as genuine leathers, there's a misconception about whether something, like people think of genuine leather and they're like, oh, it's real leather. Yes, this is real leather, but there is categories of it. Genuine leather could be a suede, could be a nubuck, which is, as far as durability, are on the lower scale of the types of leathers. Again, I don't want to get too specific because I'll stay here for an hour, but this is just an overview. The point is, you want to make sure that when you're buying shoes, make sure you do not get bonded leather, and make sure that you're getting either top grain, full grain, some suedes, nubucks, but no bonded leather, no fake leather. And you can tell by actually, smelling them. You can actually smell and see if it actually smells like leather. Some of these fake leathers are actually, some of them even kind of smell like real leather, which is really trippy. But you can smell them, you can scratch them, you can actually scratch and just feel to see if it's actually real leather. You can tell whether something's plastic or not. And then also you can just ask the person who's selling you the shoe, hey, what type of leather is this, right? You don't need to scratch the shoe, you can ask. So that's number one as far as the leathers. Number two, let's look at the inside. A lot of sneakers has some cloth in it, right? And premium sneakers have leather lining. So in this case, a sneaker or a boot, you want to make sure that it's leather lined. Leather lined, high quality, cloth, obviously cheaper because it's cloth. Now, if you look at a shoe like this, you might say, oh, this is a regular low top. I've seen them everywhere. There's a lot of companies that make them, and the prices ranges, but it has to do with, again, how it's made and the things that we're talking about right now. So I've seen shoes with cloth that are low tops, but they're cloth inside. Those shoes are not going to last you for a long time because it's not real leather inside. So that's one thing that you're looking, that you look for, is the inside of the leathers. Okay. So that's number 2. Make sure your shoes are all leather lined, unless of course you're working out and you're doing a lot of like a sport shoe. In that case, you want a cloth. Even though I have worked out and done many things with my shoes, but if you look at Nikes, they all have cloth shoes. So I'm talking specifically for dress sneakers, shoes that you actually want to go out in and look and feel good. So that's that. Now let's talk about the soles. So for example, let's talk about on a sneaker sole. In the sole right here, you might see it and you might think it's just a regular rubber sole, but some soles look a certain way, but the material is made out of a certain material. And what you want to stay away from is there are some soles that have plastic. They're like plastic PVC. You want to make sure that the best quality that you buy is a 100% rubber sole. It's going to last you longer, and it's just the quality is there. Sturdy, comfortable. You definitely want to keep that in mind. There are some alternatives to rubber sole, which is, like I said, lower materials. They look the same when you look at them as a style, but when you look inside, you can tell the quality of it. Okay, so that's as far as your shoes. For sneakers, that's our rubber soles. Now, when it comes to your boots or your actual shoes, you just want to keep in mind that when it comes to soles, there are leather soles, there are, fake soles, that they're just like a certain plastic. You might think is like wood or actually leather, but they're not. So you just got to be aware of what types of soles are they. When you have a leather sole, it's going to last you for a very long time. Okay, so keep that in mind. There's also, for example, we offer our soles with rubber inserts, so it has a better grip, or grit protectors, etc. So, but the sole is leather, right? So that's one of the things that you want to make sure that you look in your shoe and just understand: is it leather? Is it plastic? What is it? I love my shoes to all be leather, leather sole 100%. I particularly don't mind not having the rubber guard here. Some people don't like that because they feel the shoes are slippery at first, and they're right. When you first get a pair of leather shoes, you want to make sure that you break them in, and I'll have a separate video about that. But yeah, some people like the rubber here, some people don't. But the point is, you definitely want to consider leather soles. Okay, so that's as far as the soles. And lastly, let's talk about the construction. Not all shoes are constructed equal. Just like Toyota, they get they get a car out of the assembly line, I think like within a day or 3 days, and then you have a Rolls Royce that takes 6 months to make. They're both cars, but they're made differently. Now let's talk about the construction. So in this sample, let's talk about the sneakers. Majority of sneakers that you see out there for sneakers that are on the lower price tag, the way they make the shoes is they grab the upper, which is the top of the shoe, the sole, they glue it together, and that's it. There's nothing else done to it. If you look at our particular style right here, this low top, our upper and our sole are cemented together, but it's also back stitch, meaning we actually stitch the sole, the rubber sole, with the upper. This is going to give it more durability. It's going to be more flexible, more comfortable. It's just going to make your shoe last so much longer because of that little detail. There are some shoes that pretend that they have a fake stitching that looks like it's real, but nothing's being stitched to the shoe. And the way you can look at that is by looking at the inside of the shoe, whether you see that stitching or not. And I'll show you a video of Anthony talking about the difference between one of our low tops comparing to some random cheap low tops, so you can see the difference. I'll add that in a different video. But yeah, so that's as far as the sneakers. And then as far as the boots or shoes, there's many ways to construct the shoes. Cemented is one of them, where, like I said, you glue the upper to the sole. Or if you're actually stitching the sole with the upper, in this case we call it Blake stitch. In this case, the construction is called Blake stitch, and that is when you grab the sole and you attach it to the upper, through the sole of the shoe, through the insole of the shoe, which is the inside, right? So that's Blake stitch. There's Goodyear welted. There is many more constructions. Again, I don't want to get too crazy, but a reasonable construction that's worth your money is a Blake stitch construction. If you want to spend more money, Goodyear welted, and again, there's many other constructions out there, but you want to make sure you know how is your shoes constructed. If you got a boot and it's $250 and there is no Blake stitch and they're just gluing it together, that's crazy, right? So just being mindful of how the shoe is constructed. Again, you can always ask whoever it is that you're buying shoes from, how is that happening? To sum it up in conclusion, when you're buying shoes online, you want to look at the leathers, you want to look at the actual inside, you want to look at the soles, what are they made out of, what materials, and lastly, the construction. Knowing these 4 key things is going to make your decision, your buying decision, so much easier, and you're actually going to get value for your buck. Before we wrap up, everyone, if you haven't done so, make sure to check out caballerowear.com. We offer amazing silhouettes, and we know you're going to love them. All of our shoes are premium, handmade in Colombia by some of the best artisans. So check that out. And lastly, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. That's going to help us grow our channel and allow us to show this video to more people, because that's what YouTube does. I'm new to this whole YouTube thing, so I thank you guys for sticking along, with me this long. Please know that the videos are going to get better. I know, I'm going to get some lighting and just things are going to get better. So thank you for that. And do me a favor, I have a question for you guys. As far as, has there been a time where you bought something that, cost you $200 or it just cost you a lot of money and then you found out it was worth $5 or something like that? We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Until next time, I will see you guys on the next video. Take it easy, everyone. Bye-bye.